Hello guys, so we are back on this side of the room because I feel like it. I don't know why, I just wanted to film on this side of the room again. I was quite comfy doing it the last time and I have a lot to get through in this video. I'm going to try not to ramble, I'm going to try not to dwell on things too much for this video. I don't want to go through every little detail and everything, but today we're going to go through my palette collection, and when I say my palette collection, I mean my curated palette. So when I say a curated palette, I mean a palette that's already made for you. It's not one that you make yourself, it's not single shadows that you put together, make your own palette. These are all palettes that are already made and you buy them as they are, and they're beautiful, and I love all of my palettes. Some I received as gifts for Christmas and stuff like that. I don't receive PR because no one knows who I am. But most of them I've bought myself, some I've gotten for Christmas, birthdays, whatever. I've gotten them in advent calendars, gift sets, those kinds of things. So not everything I bought myself personally, but they have had money spent on them by someone and given to me. So yeah, let's get into it. I've kind of grouped everything by brand. That's the way I want to do it. I think that'll make the most sense. And yeah, I'll just go through them. If I feel like swatching something, I will swatch it. If not, I won't. I'm not going to go into huge detail about it. I'm just kind of going to give my thoughts on each palette very quickly. And then if you want to see any of the palettes in use that I haven't already done, you can let me know in the comments down below and I'll try and figure out a way to squeeze it in somewhere, probably next year, could be, I'm not sure. And I'll let you know if I've already done videos on a certain one or certain palettes here, because I have done a lot of them already. So let's get into it. So my first little group of one brand is going to be from MAC. So let's start with the smallest palette that I have. This is one of their ×9 palettes, and this is the Dusky Rose ×9. It's a lovely little palette, great little neutral palette, especially for me. I find I do get a lot of use out of this as a neutral palette. I just like how the colours look. They're really cool toned, kind of on the lighter side as well, so as neutrals for me they're really pretty. You've got a mix of textures, mix of shimmers, cool rosy dusty sort of tones. Again, Dusky Rose makes sense. I like it. It's a great little neutral. It's a good one for traveling. I don't wear neutrals all the time, obviously. By the way, if you want to see this look, it is coming up in October, so don't forget to subscribe down below. It'll come up soon and you will see it then. But yeah, this is just a nice little neutral palette for me. I really like it. I think it's really cute. And yeah. Next up then is on the opposite scale for MAC. And oh, there's my little thing with the names on it. This is from their MAC Art Library palettes. So they have 3 of them. They have a nude, a really warm one, and this one, which is the It's Designer palette. And I'm going to try and cover the mirror as best as I can. And it's just super bright. Really, really bright. Apparently these 2 here are not eye safe, so they're blushes. They're basically pressed pigments. You may get staining from them. I've had no issue from them, so yeah, and a lot of things stain my eyes. But yeah, it just gives really nice colours. Again, a nice mix of textures. 2 different golds, which is great. You've got a duochrome there. Nice bright lime green. It's a really pretty palette. Really nice. I don't get a huge amount of use out of it at the minute because I've been just using other palettes. But I do really like it. I think it's a really fun palette, especially for MAC, because they haven't been coming out with super fun things like this in a while. And yeah, they did come out with it like 2 years ago, but I only got it last year, I think. Yeah. Okay, and then I have the 2 of the girls palettes, and the girls palettes were basically, they came out with a whole range of these long sort of palettes like this, all this kind of format, and then just different colour schemes. And they're basically to represent the types of people. They're called the girls palettes, but I'm going to say the people palettes. So you've got Smarty Pants, which is one of them that I have, which is really nice, and Risk Taker, which is a bit more of me. I say that, but it's actually quite neutral. There was one punk something, rave punk or something like that, and I had a lime green. It didn't come to the UK and Ireland, and I really wanted it, and it was really, really pretty, but it didn't come here, and I was very sad about it. But let's start with the Smarty Pants palette. This is also neutral, kind of on the warmer side, and I've actually gotten more use out of this one than the other one. So the way they do it is that it's different sizes and different textures. You got matte, foil and shimmer. And then this is a highlighter for the face, or you can use it as a shadow. So a lot of these ones here, the really chunky looking ones, they're the foils. They're so pretty. I'll swatch him for you because he's really nice. So you can see, like, it's a really pretty one. Some of them have a bit of a duochrome sort of look to them, but they're super shiny. You've got a nice little mix of mattes. There's 3 mattes in here. One is a kind of skin tone colour, which is fine. You've got a peachy and a dark brown, and they go really nice with the colours in the palette. I just think it's really pretty. Really nice little neutral palette. And then Risk Taker is also quite neutral for it being called Risk Taker. It's got a little pop of this bright, like, raspberry pink, and yeah, but it is neutral enough, but it's more on the grungy side of neutral. Some of these colours are really nice. There's not a lot of mattes. There's 2 mattes. This mauvey colour, and then this skin tone colour again, which is pointless for me. This colour up here is a satin, and yeah, I wish there was more mattes in it, but it is still a nice palette, but I would definitely be pairing it with other palettes if I'm going to use it. I'm going to say now, grab a snack, guys, and grab some tea if you can. I've got some water beside me. I've got my legs crossed right now, and I have a feeling I'm probably going to have to move position because they're probably going to cramp up, because we could be talking for a while here. So let's quickly move on. I've got one Makeup Geek pre-made eyeshadow palette. I've mostly singles from Makeup Geek. In fact, all the rest of my shadows from them are singles. But this is the one that came out for Christmas, not last year, the year before last. This is the Stroke of Midnight palette, and it's such a beautiful palette. For me, this is a great everyday palette. Means nothing to me in my world, but it is such a good color palette for me. You've got one warm mid-tone kind of terracotta sort of shade. You've got one cooler mid-tone brown, which is great for a transition shade for my skin. You've got this one here is like a peachy sort of duochrome. Here you've got that sort of brown with a blue-green reflect off it, like MAC's Blue Brown Pigment. It's that in a press shadow, not like Club from MAC, like Blue Brown Pigment. It actually looks like that. I'll actually show you. It's so pretty and cool. Beautiful kind of coppery sort of tone to go with this shade up here, which is lovely. A nice burgundy, super dark, rich, almost black brown, and then 2 greens, which is really cool. And why I like it is because it's not just like a neutral palette with a pop of green. The greens will actually work with these colours. I've used it. Trust me, I've brought this away on holidays with me, and only this, and it was fine. Like this and this paired with the greens, stunning. This and this paired with this. This and this paired with this. This and this paired with this. Whatever way you want to do it. And then you've got your inner corner highlight for everything. Or a really light colour if you want to just do that all over the lid and then do like the warmer brown. Fabulous as well. So I think it's a really cool little palette. I think it's a lovely little palette, and I wish it would come out with more curated palettes as well as their singles. Then moving on again, we're going into Colourpop. Again, I only have one curated palette from Colourpop, and this is the It's Designer palette, the Disney It's Designer. And it's basically inspired by all the Disney things. And I have a few other bits that came out with this collection because this was the first Disney collection that they did. But it's really nice. You've got a whole row of mattes. Well, this one's sort of a satin sort of finish. A load of foils, and then 2 down here are like matte with a sparkle. Really nice neutral palette. Again, it's my kind of neutral palette if I'm going to go for a neutral palette, because there is the option of colour. There is an interesting way to wear them. I've done a 3 looks 1 palette and a palette bingo. Have I? Yes, 3 looks 1 palette and a palette bingo with this. So it's somewhere on my channel if you want to go search for it. Okay, and then next up is a small little palette, and it's a newer palette for me as well. I do have a few very, very new palettes, but this one here is from Love Lux Beauty. It's an indie brand, and I ordered it, and it's so pretty. So it's basically got, this up here is a trichrome. 2 mattes, so the peach and the orange are both matte. This kind of shifts pink, blue and purple, and it looks very wet on the eye. It's so stunning. And then this here is like a marble sort of thing. So you got this peachy orange in the middle with 2, well, the shape is going to be different for everyone, but with like a bright, super hot pink. You can mix it all together if you want to, or what I've done is just use the shades individually. So you basically get 2 extra shades basically. It's such a really nice little palette. I did a first impressions on it. I haven't done any more with it as far as I can remember. No, I've only done a first impressions on this. But it's on my channel. It's stunning. The look is so pretty and the colours are fab. The texture is fab. I love it. And I kind of want more. There is a blue one and a green one and a purple one that I want. Yeah. I don't know when, but eventually I'll probably get them. Okay, so we're going to get through a good bit of Huda Beauty. I do have a lot of her palettes. I have 2 bigger palettes, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of her Obsessions palettes. I have 10 of those. That's amazing. So 10, 12 of 12 Huda palettes. So let's start with the bigger ones because I've only got 2 and we can get through those a little bit quicker. So the first one up here is one I've used quite recently in a lot of my videos. I did a 3 looks on palette and a palette bingo with this, and this is the Desert Dusk palette. Gorgeous palette, again a neutral palette for me. For me, like, one half is quite bright and then one half is quite neutral, and I wouldn't even say quite bright, but there's colour there, and then this side is your more neutral side, still with a little bit of a colour and some duochromes that you can use with the neutral shades, which I did in my 3 looks on palette. There is a pressed glitter in it. Depends on how you feel about that. I used it in my 3 looks on palette on my eyes. Had no issue. They don't recommend, and I wouldn't recommend putting it on your eyes. I did it, but that was at my own risk. You do for you. Nice mix of mattes and shimmers. It does have one of the worst shadows I've ever used though, which is the shade Amethyst, the purple here. I don't know if it's just me and my palette. I have no idea. The worst shade that I've used as far as I can remember. Pretty sure. Especially in a palette of this quality where everything else is so good, that is the worst shade I've ever used. Yeah, and if you look at my palette bingo, I got that shade in my palette bingo, which was fabulous, but it did turn out okay, so whatever. But yeah, love it, absolutely love it. Great little palette. Brought it away on holidays with me and it worked out great. Next up then is one that's new, but not quite new. I got it like April of this year, and I may not actually use it on my channel until next year, and I haven't actually used it yet, which is insane. That's insane, but it's something that I've lusted after for so long, like since it came out. And then I was like, oh, I might get it, and I was like, oh no, I won't get it, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna get it, and then I was like, oh no, I don't want to get it. This is the Mercury Retrograde palette, and it's so beautiful. I'll try not to blind you. So we have some gorgeous textures, just some very different textures in this palette. It's just so nice. Beautiful soft mattes. The mattes in this are great, especially compared to that purple. You've got some gorgeous kind of plummier tones. That shade Nebula and Mercury, like these two. Oh, this is so sparkly and this is so duochromy. This one here, Supermoon, is also a bit of a duochrome, but it's quite light. Beautiful foil kind of textures on the shimmers. You've got a gold in here that has like pink sparkles in it. Oh my god, it's just so beautiful. I'm so excited to actually bust into it. The only thing I've done with it is swatch it. I haven't actually used any of the shades in the palette. I've restrained myself that much because I think around January, February I want to pop it in somewhere where I do an actual full-on first impressions 3 looks on palette, and probably a palette bingo as well. Hopefully I'll get around to doing all that. So yeah, very excited. So I can't really give my full thoughts on it actually now that I think about it, but whatever. Oh. So now we're going to get into our Obsessions palettes, which I have 10 of these. And the Obsessions palettes, if you don't know, they're these small little palettes. These are some of the original ones that came out. I don't have them all. Let me just say that. I do not have them all. So she originally came out with 6 of these guys. I think I'm only missing 2 of these. And then she came out with 5 of the Gemstones, which are these ones. And then she came out with 3, which I bought all 3 of the neons. And then she did come out with pastels, which I didn't buy because I didn't know if I really wanted them. So I just didn't buy them. The like neutral ones that she came out with then were like nothing really that interests me. The only one that actually interested me was the darkest one, and I just didn't think I'd actually get enough use out of it. And then she's coming out with the khaki haze, sand haze, and purple haze. I'll have to see them in person if I can. I don't know if I'll be able to, because the Huda that I normally go to swatch things isn't there anymore. It's gone. And the other Huda hasn't really been getting in a lot of the new stuff, so yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to see. I might wait for some reviews and swatches and see what I think. But anyway, let's move on. I've got 4 of the original Obsessions. So the first one is Coral, which is a very well loved one in my collection. It's quite a warm palette, mostly matte. There's 2 shimmers here, right here. If you want to see any of the swatches, I did do a 2 Lux 1 palette using every single one of these. I've done 10 2 Lux 1 palettes with these. Some gorgeous mattes in here. This yellow is stunning. This burnt orange is divine. And this middle shade in here is a really good transition shade for my skin. Beautiful corally tones. The shimmers go really well with it all. I just think it's really pretty. So that's him. I am going to kind of fly through these as quick as I can because I don't want to be here all night and I have a lot to get through here. So next up then is Gemstone Obsessions. If I was to say one of my least favourites, could be this. One of them, only because it's an all shimmer palette. It's a stunning palette. The quality is amazing. It's nothing to do with that. It's more so that it's all shimmer, and I always have to pair it with something else. I never just wear the shimmers, but the colours themselves are really nice. There's some really nice duochrome shades, beautiful jewel tones in here as well. Again, I did a 2 Lux 1 palette with this, and I've also ranked all of these as far as my opinions are or were at the time. So I have ranked all 10 of them, so you can see what way I put them in my order. So that is the Gemstone. Next up then is a very obvious one that I was going to go for, and this is the Electric palette, and this is the super bright one, obviously. I mean, I couldn't not buy these. This one and the next one were the 2 things that actually triggered me to buy them. So this one here, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mattes and 3 shimmers. I will say the shimmers don't go with all of the mattes. Like, you wouldn't be able to make it all work together. Sometimes I do pull in, and I actually do pair these 2 together, which is quite cool. I think these 2 go really well together. So if you wanted to buy 2 of them, I'd buy those 2 together because they work really well. Some gorgeous, beautiful saturated colours. They're stunning, absolutely stunning. But yeah, that is the Electric. And then this one here is one of my favourites, and I think I did put it as my all-time favourite in my number 10. Spoiler alert, I'm not sure, I can't really remember. It was between this one or another one, I'm not really sure, but this definitely triggered me to buy these, and this is the Smokey Obsessions. Yes, it's neutral. Yes, I know, I understand. You would think the Electric one is more my style, but no, this is super dark, and this is my kind of neutrals. It's all dark brown, so it's one light transition shade, a lot of shimmer options, beautiful gold, the most stunning silver. Well, one of the most stunning silvers in my collection, which I will get to. Beautiful taupey shimmers, like taupey brown shimmers. This black is unreal. With the silver, fabulous. The browns are stunning. I love this palette. Moving on again, then we're going to go into the actual like gem inspired Obsessions palettes. So we will start with the first one, which was the Emerald. They also had Topaz, and they had, oh yeah, with the other ones there was a warm brown and there was a mauve. Didn't get any of those because they just didn't interest me that much. I wasn't interested. Same with these. There was the Amethyst, which was the purple. Again, I have a lot of purple eyeshadow. I didn't really need it, but the other ones were really interesting. And the Topaz still interests me sometimes, but I didn't get it yet. So let's start with the Emerald, which is gorgeous. Some beautiful khaki sort of tones, kind of like what I'm wearing now, but it's not what I'm actually wearing now. I'll show you that in a while. Gorgeous tones here. This is stunning. Yes, I know, she's beautiful. This shade here is also a beautiful, lovely, and a beautiful khaki. Look at her. Oh yes. Again, 2 Lux 1 palettes with this as well, and it's also in my ranking video. Next up then is the Ruby Obsessions. Probably the one I've got the least amount of use out of these 3 anyway. And I don't know why. I do really like it though. I do have a bit of hard pan on this one here, but it's fine. It is like a kind of blackened red, quite a blackened red, with like a gold brighter sort of red shimmer off it. It's actually really, really pretty, but it's a bit difficult to work with, but it's fine. This one here is quite a hard shadow as well, but again, it comes out well. You just have to really work with it. This colour up here is stunning. So beautiful. Oh my god, it's raining. Very loud. Because it was so nice out today, oh my god. And then you've got this gorgeous matte burgundy as well. Fabulous, love it. I think it's a really good red palette that's red and also neutral, so you can work with it and ground your looks really well. And then last in this little group, this is the Sapphire Obsessions. Look at that palette. Look at this. See this colour here? This is one of the reasons why I bought this palette, because this mixed with these blues. Oh, such a good colour story. Very satisfying. I'm going to swatch a couple here as well. So we're going to do the middle one, which to me looks like a scarab beetle. Yes, I know. It's beautiful. This one here, which is like a silver with like a blue sort of shimmer. It's kind of a chunky sort of colour as well, which is nice. We'll do that sort of a greeny, chartreusey sort of shade. Also really pretty. And we'll do the cobalt blue down the bottom. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I love the looks that I did with this. I'll just actually swatch a couple here so you can see them. Look at that. Look at that colour. Oh my god, it's so nice. Okay, excuse my hand. It's filthy now. I tried to wipe it off with some dry paper, but no, not working. But whatever. Next up then is going to be the neon. So they came out with these 3 neons for summer last year, I think. This one here I think is my least favourite palette out of them all. Again, go watch my ranking video, you'll see it there. But this is the green one, and I'm so excited about a green neon palette because I love me green. Like these 3 are really nice here, but these just don't make any sense. I just don't understand why you would put these with them. I get a lot of them are toppers. This middle one here is actually fine because this has a green reflex off it, and this pink up here also has a green reflex off it, so it makes sense. The other ones, so I just don't really understand it. There's one kind of peach here which kind of helps, which is a matte. I don't know. I just feel like they could have done with maybe a slightly deeper green. Like, I don't mean dark, I just mean slightly deeper, this kind of green. And like maybe a shimmer that's a little bit darker as well. I don't know. Or I'm not sure. I don't know. But this was not my neon green palette that I wanted. It's a lovely palette still, but it's just not what I was expecting it to be. And it's also one I don't really grab too much, but I like it. I like the colours in it, just separately, not in the palette. Next up then is the Pink Obsessions palette, and oh, this palette is so satisfying when I look at it. Look at that. It's like a pink and purple sort of colour scheme. Super bright. I did a 2-tone dye with this in my 2 Lux One palette. I did a really nice halo sort of eye with it. The purples go really well together. Like, you can have a mix in, like, this is to go with the green palette. In the green palette, they don't go together. Any of the colours don't go together. These colours are all different, but they still go together. You can still pair them together, which I really like. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mattes and 4 shimmers. Some are duochrome, some are toppers, some are insanely bright, which is fabulous as well. Love it. If you want to see swatches, they're always in my 2 Lux One palettes as well, so you can go check that one out. Then is probably my favourite out of the neons, and one of my favourites. I'm pretty sure I might have had this either first or second. I'm not sure. Again, if you want to see, go watch my ranking video. This is the Orange Obsessions. Look at that colour scheme. Oh my god. Look at the chartreusey yellow. Look at this colour. Oh, yes. And then this shimmery orange. Yes. And then we'll go for an actual orange in the palette. Like a corally. Oh, look at this. Oh, and then there's even this random, but it kind of goes with this pink up here. This like magenta sort of colour because it has a bit of purple in it. It still goes though. I don't know how they did it. It actually still goes together, and I know it seems like it doesn't, but it really does. Like with this corally shade and the sort of corally shimmer, it goes really well. It's also a nice contrast, stark contrast against this. Fabulous. Okay, so moving on to NYX. I only actually have one eyeshadow palette from NYX, which you might be surprised at because, I don't know, I feel like NYX is very my kind of brand, but I only actually have one palette, and I got it in an advent calendar, so it's actually a neutral palette. It's one of the Ultimate Shadow palettes, and it is the, what do you call it? Warm neutral. Shocking. The warm neutrals palette. I don't really grab it too much. It's a nice little palette though. I feel like it's something, like some of them I haven't even swatched. I've probably used it twice in my entire life, and I got it last Christmas. But I think it's a good colour scheme to have. I might actually bring it up to my boyfriend's house, because this is the kind of neutral palette I would grab while I'm up in his house if we're just going out somewhere random during the day. And I want to throw a little bit of something on, but I could still do a nice smoky eye with it if I wanted to. I might leave it up there. It's very nice, but I don't really grab it. Then I've got two things that came out with the Christmas collection. These are pressed glitter palettes. I haven't really used them that much. I've played with them a little bit, but I haven't actually used them in looks. This is Peppermint, which is the bluey toned one, and then the pinky purpley one is Strawberry Whip. They do say some of it is not lip and not eye safe. You know, a lot of pressed glitters, actually all pressed glitters I would say is not eye safe. A lot of glitters aren't eye safe. But they're fine. You know what I mean? I as I was saying before, I was very rudely interrupted by my camera turning off. Yeah, I would use them on my eyes and lips, but I'd be very careful with taking them off. I wouldn't just take them off like I normally would. I tend to actually go in with a cotton bud and some makeup remover and try and get as much glitter off before I've even tried to rub my eye, just so that the glitter particles don't get in my eye. I know it can still happen during the day, it can fall in, but I try to eliminate it as much as I can. So this is really nice. I'm not going to swatch them because glitter does get everywhere. My hand is already filthy and I want to save space for other colours, but this is a beautiful little colour palette that I like, and I actually think I like the blue even more, just because I think it's very satisfying. And that green, look at that greeny minty sort of shade, fabulous. But yeah, don't really use them, but there's always a use for something in my collection. Okay, so next up is some random ones. I have got a few that are just a bit random. Some aren't available everywhere. I wanted to show you guys everything, but like some of it isn't available anymore or not available in certain countries, but whatever, I'm gonna just show you guys. So first up is Beauty Bay. This I actually got free because I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I was spending a lot of money. Probably. This is the Tropic Like It's Hot palette. That's a little sleeve off. You get cute little stickers. It's obviously a summer sort of collection, but it's a Beauty Bay brand, and that's the actual palette. I actually love this. I think this is really cool and sleek. And this is how it looks. It's a cute little palette. I actually really like it, but I haven't actually used it yet because I've no use for it. I didn't actually buy it myself. So a lot of times when I buy palettes myself, it's because I'm digging to get into them. But this obviously, it was a gift with purchase, so yeah, but the colours are lovely. Like that orange is really nice. That's cute. I like it. It's a very nice little palette. I don't know. I like it. The bronzer is a bit much for me now. I think that's a bit dark for me. A bit warm. But I think it'll be nice on the eyes. Next then is a very big throwback. This is when Tanya Burr used to do cosmetics. She used to do nails and lip products. Then she came out with some lashes, I think, and then she had some actual makeup, and there was a gift set my friend got me. Had a few products in it. Had some lipsticks, eye crayons, a cheek palette, and this eyeshadow palette, and I think that was everything. Can't really remember. But this is the little eye palette that I have. It's actually a lovely little eyeshadow palette. This is the Too Tempting eyeshadow collection, and this is the little colour scheme. It's very neutral, very Tanya Burr. I'd expect nothing less of her. She doesn't sell makeup anymore. She doesn't do cosmetics anymore. But it's a lovely little palette. I have used it a couple of times. I just think it's really nice. Yeah, it's pretty. And I love Tanya Burr. I love her videos when she used to do videos. I loved all that. Yeah. Then up next is from number 7. Number 7 is available in Boots, and it's a Boots brand as far as I know, and this was also in a little set. It also came with a little cheek palette and a couple of brushes. So this is the little eyeshadow palette. I think it's a very pretty palette. It's again not one I use a whole lot, only because the darkest shades are shimmery. And the only matte in it is like nearly my skin colour. But yeah, I think the shimmers in it are beautiful. So if you have a nice little dark brown or a mauvey brown or a taupey sort of brown paired with this palette, that's a nice little colour scheme we got there. Some of the shimmers are really pretty in it. I think it's really nice, cute little palette. I love it. My mum got it for me for Christmas actually, because I was like, oh, that's really pretty. And the cheek palette is actually really nice as well. So yeah, it's very light, heavy though. So anyone with deep skin that may not suit. That's the only thing about it. Same with the cheek palette. It's very light, heavy. Even anyone with a medium skin tone, I don't think it would suit because it's a bit too light. But on my skin, it's actually fine. And the next up, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. This is also from Boots, but it's not from number 7. They had a Harry Potter range out, and I bought a Slytherin palette. But it's a lovely Slytherin palette. It's really nice. It's green. Look at it. It's green and silver and black. Green, silver and black. What more could I ever want in my life? I'm literally wearing green today, and I'm wearing a green lip. It's a lovely little colour palette. Haven't really used it too much, but I'm a Slytherin. So I was a Hufflepuff, then I was a Slytherin, then I thought I was a Hufflepuff again, but I'm still a Slytherin. So I'm going to have to embrace my Slytherin life. Not that I have to. I fully embrace it. I have a Slytherin backpack that I wear around to work. Yeah, love it. Think it's very cute. The colours are really nice. The pigment is there. Like, it's not like it's a cheaply made palette. It's just, yeah, very nice. I like it. Also, bear in mind, I do like all my palettes. All of them. I don't hate any of them. I may like some more, but I don't hate any of them. Have you guys given up yet? Because we've still a long way to go. So next up is actually the palette that I'm wearing today, and it's actually one that I filmed with today, and it's the palette that is going up next month. So this is the sleeve off, and I just took it out so you could see, but I'll actually show you. It's the Lunar Beauty Moon Spell palette. I've been lusting after this since it came out. I've had it in my basket and I was like, oh, it's €59. Oh, I don't know if I can justify spending that €59. And I kept going, oh, I'll get it. Oh, no, I'm not going to get it. Oh, no, I'm going to get it. And then I got a fright because I was like, oh, what if it gets discontinued? And then I just ordered it. I also ordered the liquid lips to go with it. But whatever. But you will see this in action in a First Impressions and a 3-Lux one palette. This is one of the looks. And yeah, I'll probably do a palette bingo eventually on it. But this is the colour scheme here. It's witch inspired. That's what it looks like there. Because in a lot of the pictures it does look like that, but it's actually this. It's a lot more muted and beautiful, but still colourful, and I love it. There's some neutrals, so you can get away with doing some softer looks if you wanted to, but that's no fun. So they're all named after famous witches in pop culture and all that. You've got Sabrina, Winifred, Sarah and Mary. You've got Bonnie, Marnie, Nancy, Fiona, Hermione, obviously, Prue, Phoebe, Piper, Paige. Am I missing anyone? Kiki. Did I say Bonnie? I don't know. But it's fabulous. The packaging is like out of this world. It's just like a little spell book. Oh, had to have it. Couldn't help it. Got it. Love it. And then sticking with the witchy, spooky sort of theme, these are the newest palettes in my collection. So I ordered from V Cosmetics their Halloween mystery box, because I wanted to try the brand for ages. You will have seen that in my wish list, my makeup wish list, that I wanted to order some of the palettes. Now obviously the palette that I wanted from my video is not in this because I didn't expect it to be. It's actually their most popular palette I think at the minute, because it's not a dupe, but it's a version of grey tones that's like the Jeffree Star cremated palette, so people are buying this instead because it's an indie brand and to always support your indie brands. So the first palette I'm going to talk about is the Ouija palette. Look at it. It does kind of weird me out having this here, only because Ouija boards scare me a little bit because of The Exorcist. I would never ever have an actual Ouija board in my house, and if anyone brought one into my house, I would never speak to them again. Never again. Couldn't get over that. But the colours are so fun. It's like a lot of warm tones, there's a lot of purple tones, and then you've got your kind of more, you've got like a black, a grey, but the way it's like the names are, it's not named, it's actually the song, it's Hubble, Bubble, Toil and Trouble, Fire, Burn and Cauldron, Bubble, wishing you a happy Halloween. Isn't that cute? Yeah, so it's very, very pretty. The only thing is I think these two colours are exactly the same, but whatever. Can't say anything about how it works on the actual eyes. I've only swatched some of the shades. I haven't even swatched all of the shades. I may save this for next Halloween. Not that I'm not going to use it until next Halloween. That's insane. Although I am saving my Mercury Retrograde palette until next year, but whatever. But I may save this to do like a 3 looks 1 palette and that kind of thing until next year, but I may do a first impressions at some point. I don't know when. Probably not in October because I'm fully packed for October, but maybe November, I don't know. And then I did buy the upgraded version, so you could buy one which was €45, I think, and you get 3 eyeshadow palettes in it. You get the Green Witch, which is the one I'm going to show you in a second, but different from this one. You get the Ouija and you get the little pumpkin palette. I didn't know you got 3 in that one. I would have probably bought that one, but whatever. But I upgraded to the one that was £65. Did I say euro? It's actually pounds that I paid in. But yeah, in that you get 2 palettes, but the Green Witch, they actually change it and add a lot of duochrome sort of shades in it. So this is the Green Witch here. Shockingly, it's green. But my god, is this a gorgeous green palette. These I'm pretty sure a lot of these ones on top are changed. Oh my god, it's such a good green palette. This one here is like a gold with a super strong green shift. You can probably see it there, like this. Like, look at that color, look at it. Oh, it's just so stunning. And this is like, it's more of a topper, I would say. It actually even has a little bit of a pink in it as well. But yeah, how beautiful is that? And again, the names on this are, sorry, I'm just going to wipe my finger before I get it all over me. The names on this are the same. Nature is real magic. Breathe deep, walk barefoot. Growth comes with love. Cute. I like it. Okay, and then moving on to some of my new favourites in my collection. These were bought for me by my boyfriend for my birthday. So they're the Kaleidos Futurism palettes. I've got 3 of them. So I got the Cyber Bronze, the Astro Pink, and the VR Neon. So let's go through them very quickly. So VR Neon is the first one that I played with. As far as I know, this has been discontinued. I can't find it on the website, and someone told me it was being discontinued. So I'm very sad. But look at it, it's neon, it's fabulous. You have 2 shimmers here, super bright mattes, so pretty. I've got a first impressions and a 2 looks 1 palette on this and all the other ones. Very pretty, loved it. I think it's so stunning. The colours, the quality, everything is so beautiful about these palettes. I'm going to try and quickly go through these because I am going to be here all day because I have a lot to get through here. Next up then is the Astro Pink. The packaging, look at the packaging. Oh god, I've raved about these so much recently. These have been my current little project as of the last month or 2. This is Astro Pink. You've got this beautiful black, this beautiful duochrome. This shade will shock you when you use it in real life. And you've got 3 mattes. You've got 2 neutral shades. You could do it maybe one of them being a bit darker than the other, a bit more darker than the other, or one being a slightly different colour. They are similar enough, but they work, they are still different from each other. And then this gorgeous purple, fabulous. Again, 2 looks 1 palette and a first impressions has gone up for those. And then the last one is probably my favourite, which you might be surprised again because it is a neutral-ish palette. This is the Cyber Bronze. It's so stunning. You've got a beautiful red again, will shock you. And this silver is in the running for one of my favourite silvers. Between this, another palette that's coming up in a minute, and the one in the Huda Smoky Obsessions palette. They're my 3 favourite silvers ever. So beautiful. Again, I'll say it again. First impressions and a 2 looks 1 palette has gone up on this. Okay, I'm going to get through 2 little palettes here. One I haven't even touched yet. Only because, again, I got it in an advent calendar and I tend to forget about that kind of stuff because I haven't actually bought it myself. So it's not something that I'm like, oh, my new little thing. It's something that I got and I just kind of forgot about a little bit. The other one then I don't really use only because it's not my favourite thing in the world. It is one that I don't really like. I think I got this in an advent calendar too. So the first one that's not my favourite, this is the Makeup Academy eyeshadow palette. It's in the Cosmic Vixen is the colour scheme. And it looks like this. It's a lovely little colour story, don't get me wrong. And the colours do work really well. I just never use it. I don't know. The packaging is a little bit cheap. Not that that matters to me really. Just if it bothered you, it's something just to know. But yeah, it's a cheap enough brand, so it's not like it's a very expensive brand you're paying for. I do like the colour scheme. I do like some of the shades in here, but it's just not something that actually grabs my attention all the time to actually use. I think it'd be something that I would bring away on holidays with me and I'd be forced to use it. Not forced in a bad way, but it would just make me get a good bit of use out of it. So that's what I would kind of have to do with it. Next up, similar kind of thing. This is a Makeup Revolution palette I got in their Christmas advent calendar. Obviously it's a Christmas advent calendar. What other advent calendar would you have except for a Christmas one? whatever. I'm tired. It's very late. It's currently 12 o'clock. So this one here is the Reloaded Fire. Not very fiery. There's like one orangey shade and one corally shade and then one orangey sort of shade. The rest is all neutral. Again, doesn't really excite me. I haven't even touched it. I've probably swatched, like, have I swatched any of it? I haven't even swatched it yet. Oh my god. Usually I've at least swatched it. It's a nice little colour scheme though. Again, neutrals I would probably use, but I just haven't used it yet. I've had too many other more exciting things to use. Okay, and then next up is some of the earliest things that I can remember buying that was like a YouTube recommended thing for me, and also something that I started collecting quite early on. And these are my Sleek Eye Divine palettes. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's go through them. So I've got the Sleek Original palette. My friend got me this for my birthday one year or Christmas one year. It's an all shimmer palette, except for the black is a semi matte sort of finish. It's very, very pretty, and I don't get enough use out of this at the minute. Again, because I've got more things that actually excite me, but I do love it. I would never ever part with it because the quality is actually really good for these palettes. If you need like makeup, like cheap enough but still quality makeup, and I think they're like €15, whatever, you know what I mean? It's good. Next up then, this is which one? The Del Mar palette. I bought this and I actually did get a good bit of use out of this. It's a bit of a weird colour scheme, very summery, springy summer sort of colour scheme. A lot of mattes. There's 1, 2, 3 shimmers in it. The rest are all mattes. I don't use everything in the palette. I've mostly used like this pinky shade, this brown sort of shade, the white a little bit as well. I don't use everything, but it's a really nice colour scheme. And then this is the first palette that I got, and again, this was also a gift for me, but this was the first palette that I bought, or that it was a big deal for me because it was on a YouTube thing. Pretty sure Leisha from X-Barkage was the one who I still obsessed. And it's from her that I got this. Not from her, my friend bought it because I love Leisha. And me and Leisha have very similar styles of makeup, very bright. But this is the Acid palette, and I freaking love this palette. And yes, some of them are UV because I've tested it. I've gone to UV parties and worn this, and it is UV. These 4 in the middle and this purple up here, all UV. Some shimmers, really nice little mix of colours. It's very pretty. It's your perfect little neon palette for me. It's the only full-on neon eyeshadows that I think I have actually as well. And then next up is probably the one palette out of all of these that I've used the most out of them all. This is the Vintage Romance palette. It's such a beautiful grungy little palette. Gorgeous row of purples here. This colour here, I think it's called Forever in Florence. Yes, Forever in Florence. This one here is like a blackened purple, like an aubergine colour. Oh, so nice. These sort of golden shades to go with this beautiful midnight blue. Oh, and then this terracotta brown. God, this is one of my favourite palettes of all time. Pretty sure I wore this to my Debs. Debs being like a prom sort of thing. I wore this to, not my Debs, my boyfriend's Debs at the time. And then lastly, this is brand new only because I have it already and I got this in an advent calendar. And I haven't used it yet because I don't need to use it just yet. I have swatched one shade. I don't know why, but I already have it, and I have it in my boyfriend's house, and I do get a lot of use out of it up there. This is the Oh So Special palette, which is a very pretty neutral palette. It's a very bridal style neutral palette for me anyway. You've got some nice smoky deeper shades here, and then all your lighter neutral shades here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shimmers. You've enough to do a smoky eye with a bit of shimmer in it if you wanted a darker kind of shimmer, and your light shimmers. Fabulous colours, really good quality. Again, the quality is the same with them all. I love it. Okay, and then next up is a inexpensive palette that's very good. I brought it on holidays with me on my last holiday, and I got a good bit of use of it. I think it's really nice, and I've lusted after this for a long time. And then I didn't use it for ages because I was waiting to go away, and then I used it and I actually really like it. So this is the BH Cosmetics Take Me Back to Ibiza palette, or Ibiza, whatever you want to say it. I did want the Take Me Back to Brazil one, the one that's white with the big rainbow in it, but then I heard the quality wasn't great. This went down to like €11 or something like that. Look at how many colours I got for like €11 on Beauty Bay. And this is a bit more me because you've got these beautiful green tones here, some stunning orangey tones, a bit of blue. It's not a full-on rainbow. There's a bit more of a mix in here, a bit more depth. There's a bit more of a colour story happening here. You have your neutrals and your little highlighty shades here, which is fine. Great to go with everything. And yeah, I really like it. I think it's really pretty. The colours are great. The pans are small, yes, but like realistically, how often do you get your own eyeshadow? I mean, I don't anyway. And next up is a palette that is coming up soon as well, along with the Moonspell palette. So this is the LA Splash Presents Classic Horror. Can you tell when I'm going to use this palette? Possibly October. I'm going to do a First Impressions and a 3 Looks 1 palette, I think. I'm definitely doing 3 Looks 1 palette on it. Don't quote me on the First Impressions just yet. I'll have to check my schedule. Because I haven't filmed it yet. So I'm filming it hopefully sometime next week. But yeah, look at that packaging on the outside. How cute and creepy is that? And then on the inside, it's all like pin-up style, like horror, classic horror kind of characters, but all female. Isn't that just the cutest? Look at it. And then this is the back. How adorable. I couldn't not have it. It's an all matte palette. Or well, like they're the kind of mattes that have the tiniest little bit of a satiny sort of finish only to help it blend, but they still go on matte, if that makes sense. But this is the colour story. It's a little bit of a rainbow, which I quite like. And they're very interesting versions of each colour. But yeah, it's so cute. You've got the likes of Toxic, Psycho, Madness, Curse, Blue Moon, Zombie, Nightmare, 13th, Voodoo, and Lights Out. Yes. So I'm gonna do a 3 Looks 1 palette with that. What I'm probably gonna do is I might do one all matte look, but also then do one where I bring in maybe a liquid shadow, because I've got a nice liquid shadow that I think will go well with this, and maybe some glitter, and we can kind of make looks with that. That's the way I kind of want to do those videos. Next up then, please excuse the fingerprints because it's that kind of packaging, drives me bananas. This is the Fenty Beauty Galaxy palette. Got this for Christmas off my mother one year. The packaging, look, I'll just show you, look how it's like an oil stick. The packaging is stunning. It's just that it keeps taking my fingerprints and it's gross. And I do have, when I'm doing my makeup, I have moisture on my hands, I have foundation on my hands, I have everything on my hands, so you know what I mean, it gets stuck to this palette. It's an all shimmer palette. It's an all kind of eyeshadow topper sort of style palette. It's like the MAC Dazzle shadows, the originals, and then it's also like the Urban Decay Moonstone or Moon Dust eyeshadows. That kind of style of shadow. They're really, really pretty. I don't get enough use out of it, but I do pull in 1 or 2 shades when I need it. I did use this green in my green colour series look, and the 2 blues as well, also in my blue colour series look. Very nice, really pretty little palette to have. Very happy that I have it. We are slowly but surely getting through these. I have a good few left, but only a few left. We are more than halfway through. My God. Alrighty, so like I said, I am over halfway through, but we still have a good bit to go, so hang in there, guys, please. So next, let me just take this one out of the box. This is the KVD Vegan Beauty, or Kat Von D. I got it when it was Kat Von D. This is the Pastel Goth palette, and it's so pretty. I did buy it like just before all the drama hit, and I bought it on sale as well. And I haven't really shown it on my channel, and I haven't really used it actually because of all of the stuff. But it's a really nice pastel palette that's not like super, I don't know, like I like the fact that there's a grey in it. I like the fact that there's a white in it. The tones of them are really, really pretty as well. I just think it's really cute, really nice, really colourful. Again, I can't really say too much on the formula because it's not something I've used a whole lot, but I do like it so far. It's all matte as well, so you can always just add shimmers as you need to. Then next is a palette that I do love very dearly. I have a 3 Looks 1 palette and a palette bingo that only went up there last month. This is the Melt Muerte palette. They did have the other one, the Amore palette I think it's called, the one with the oranges and greens in it. I didn't get that one. This is the one I wanted because look at the beauty in this palette. Look at how beautiful and rich and deep those colours are, but they're still colourful. Oh God. The formula is beautiful. It's just a different kind of formula than what I'm used to, so it did take a little bit to get used to it, how pigmented, how rich, and how to blend them. But once I got into that, it's one of the best formulas that I have in my collection. I know some people say that Melt's eyeshadow formula is hit and miss sometimes, but I only have one palette and it's a hit, so I love it. I love the looks that I created, but I did come up with one of my favourite looks ever in my 3 Lux One palette, I think. Yes, it was my 3 Lux One palette. And using like the reds and some of the greens. Just a beautiful palette all around. Then we're going to get into some Urban Decay palettes. So the first one I'm going to do is the only Naked palette that I have, the only Naked palette that I've ever owned, and it is the Naked 3 palette. This is the more rosy toned one. It's the kind of colour scheme, if I'm going for nudes, that I do tend to go for. My friends got me this for my 20th birthday. There is 1 or 2 shades in it that like aren't the best, but overall it's a beautiful palette. It's a beautiful tone for my skin. I just think it's really nice. I create really nice neutral colour, neutral looks out of it, but I can still do smoky if I want to. So yeah, I do like it. I like it a lot. Next up then is one that my boyfriend got me for Christmas, or one of the Christmases, or my birthday, I'm not sure. But this is the Full Spectrum palette from Urban Decay. This is like a raised sort of like jewel sort of thing here, but it's basically a rainbow palette. It's a full spectrum rainbow in all different kind of depths. So there you've got your more jewel tone rainbow, your super bright rainbow, and your semi, I wouldn't even say it's pastel, just a more muted rainbow would be the way I would describe that bottom row. Lovely colours. I don't use it as often, again because I've been using other stuff, but I do really like it. I think the colours are really pretty. You've got like the 3 purples in a row, and it's just different depths of that purple. Very nice, very usable palette, really user friendly for colours, and nice way to get a little play around with some colours. And then my last Urban Decay palette is my Heavy Metal palette. So this guy here, again my boyfriend did get me this for Christmas, and it is an all shimmer palette, and it's got like a neutral side. It's weird, it like slides out like this and the mirror is in the middle, which is a bit weird, but whatever. You've got your neutrals on this side and your shimmers on this side. It is a lovely palette to put in when I do want that super foiled shimmer. The shimmers in this are stunning. Even the coloured ones, they're so pretty. This shade Angel Fire is beautiful, and I love punk rock, I love spandex, I love like scream and acoustic. It's all like music themed because it's like heavy metal. But yeah, very nice. Bit weird of the packaging, but I do love this palette. Going back into our rainbows, I have got my September Rose Slush palette, which is one of my favourite rainbow palettes ever. I use this a lot, especially in the summer. This is the colour scheme here. It's a mostly rainbow, I'll say, because there is no true red. It's more pink than red, and the orangey tones are more orange than red. But overall it's basically a rainbow palette, and it's just a beautiful like way it's laid out. You've got enough options. It's still a compact enough palette. It's not massive considering how many shades are actually in this palette. Just a beautiful mix of textures, tones, everything. I love it. I have got a 3 Lux One palette and a palette bingo on this, and a random tutorial here and there. I'll always use this palette. I love it. Next up then is another big palette for me. This is the Mama Mitchell and Beauty Bay palette, and it's such a good palette. This is the kind of palette I bring around with me when I am going somewhere, and say I'm staying in my boyfriend's house, but I'm getting ready in my boyfriend's house and I want to bring something fun to do my makeup with. This is the palette I'll bring because I can always come up with something, and I have everything I need in this palette. So you have the mirror in here, which actually is detachable, which is great because it means you can leave your palette open and just use the mirror as you need to, and then it just pops back in, which is magnetic. But here is the lovely palette. You've got on this side your warmer, super bright tones, and then on this side you get your cooler and more muted neutral tones. The colours, the textures, everything, the pigment, all of it, it's so pretty. I've got a 4 Lux One palette with this. I've no first impression and I've no palette bingo, but I am going to do a palette bingo probably next month maybe, or not October, November I think. I I always whip this out every now and again, and I always whip it out when I want to do like face charts, if I want to come up with some looks, because it's just such a good mix of colours. Like I said, it's the kind of palette I would grab and gravitate towards all the time when I'm going out and I don't know what I want to do, but I want to do something fun. Alright guys, we're nearly there. We've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more palettes to go. So I'm going to go through my Juvia's Place palettes, which are my babies. I love them. So let's start with the first one that I bought ever. And this one here is the Saharan 2 palette. Look at the packaging. It's always stunning with Juvia's Place. And this is our colour story. So it's definitely on the warmer side. It's mostly shimmer. There's 6 shimmers, 3 mattes. The mattes are all warm and very pigmented. There's not a lot of transition shades. That's my only thing with this palette, is that there's no transition shade for my skin tone. Again, it's a brand made by people of colour for people of colour. But the colours are unreal. So I do pair it with other palettes a lot, or maybe a random single shadow here and there where I need to. Shimmers are beautiful. This blue is so nice, and this it's almost like a chunky rusty red sort of shade. I've done 3 Lux on palettes, palette bingo, multi-palette bingos. Did I do a palette bingo on this actually? I don't know if I did do a palette bingo on this. I think I just did a 3 Lux on palette and then a multi-palette bingo. I can't remember. Next up then is the Deuce palette. I love the packaging on this one as well. It's super beautiful and pretty and just soft. I love it. So the Deuce palette is a little bit more what I call my ice cream palette. Because it's a lot more kind of softer pastel colours. You do have this beautiful dark chocolatey brown, which I think does go quite well. It's a weird colour scheme though. A lot of people do have a hard time with it, but I love it. I open it and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to do like these 2 colours together, and I might do with this one, and I might add a bit of this shimmer in, and this colour here is the most beautiful, like for my skin, just all over lid colour that kind of looks like there's something on my eye, but doesn't really look like there's anything on my eye. I love it. I love this palette. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 shimmers and 5 mattes, and I love it. I did do a 3 Lux on palette with this, and I will have a palette bingo. Oh, I did do a palette bingo with the Saharan too. So then I will have a palette. I don't have one up yet, but I will have a palette bingo up with this soon. And then the last one is one that my boyfriend got me for Christmas. My boyfriend has bought me a lot of makeup over the years. Mostly because he knows it's what I like, and he just asks me what I want, so I tell him what I want. And this is how it looks here. It's super bright. It's super fun. I actually used it yesterday. Yes, yesterday in one of my Halloween looks, and you'll see that coming up soon. This lime green here is my all-time favourite lime green that's shimmery that I have in my collection, as far as I can think. Well, I haven't used the Green Witch palette, but yeah, so far it is. I love this palette. I love how it looks. I love opening it. I just love being inspired by it. I think it's really fun. It's nice even just to pull in, like for my Halloween look, I needed the purple and the orange, so I just pulled them in because I needed them, and it was great. I loved it. And then last brand and last 2 palettes. So these are exciting. I haven't even I've opened them obviously, and I've swatched them, but I haven't actually busted into these yet because they're coming up in November and then December. That's the way I've scheduled them in, and I don't want to use them until then. So this is the Give Me Glow, which I wanted for so long, but because the shipping was so expensive for Ireland, because it's an American company as far as I know, I didn't go for it, and then all of a sudden I was like, screw it, I'm gonna get it, and I just got it because I couldn't help myself. So this is the Grunge palette. It came back in stock. Actually, that's what it was. So basically a lot of the stuff was out of stock. This palette was out of stock, and the next palette was out of stock, and I kept going and be like, and then I was like, well, I just get some single shadows. I kind of made up a little plan, and I was like, the shipping's quite expensive. And then I went on one day and I was like, if these 2 palettes are in stock, I'm just going to order them. And I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't be in stock, so I wouldn't have to pay for it. And then they were in stock. I was like, screw it, I'm just ordering it. Why not? So this is the Give Me Glow Grunge palette. Look at the packaging. How adorable and cute and fun and super cool is that packaging. And this is how the palette looks, and it's my dream grunge palette. Look at how that looks. It's so pretty. You've got a little bit of colour, enough colour, and the kind of colours that I would tend to wear with my grungy looks when I'm going out. The shimmers in this are divine. There's only 2, but my god. The names are great. Bonehead, Teenage Dirtbag, Smells Like Teen Spirit, Nirvana, Punk Grunge, Black Hole Sun. It's just so pretty. The shimmers go really well with the colours, even though there is only 2. So this one is more of like a golden shimmer, and then this is more of like a rosy taupey sort of shimmer. So they do go quite well with the colours. I'm so excited. I'm going to do a first impressions, and I'm going to do a 3 Lux on palette with this, and I'm very, very excited to bust into it. It's just been sitting in my drawer and I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. My God, I nearly dropped it and my bum hole clenched. My bum hole just clenched. Yes. And then lastly is a very festive palette. So this is why I want to do it in December, and you'll probably already guess it if you know the palettes from Give Me Glow. And this is the Christmas Morning palette. Look how obnoxiously festive that is, and it's great. I love it. And the colours in it are so beautiful, and they're so Christmassy but also not Christmassy as well. Like, you could definitely use them any time of the year. Obviously you can wear anything any time of the year. But the colours are so beautiful, and I just love this silvery colour with this brown. I don't know what it is about that makes me very happy. Let me just swatch a couple. So this one up here is just a magical. We'll swatch the silver. We'll do the red. Okay, my hand is a bit dirty, but sure, look. So matte red, like really, and I've no primer down. Seriously. We've got silver, but it's kind of almost has a little bit of like a taupey sortness to it. Look at that. That is the third silver that I was talking about. I said there was 3. This is the third one. And then this one here, which is the most magical, beautiful color. It's a duochrome. It's super like thick, and oh, look at how reflective. This, so far from swatching them, because I haven't actually used them on my face, is one of the best shimmer formulas I've ever encountered. Ever. Like, to touch, to look at, everything. Alrighty guys, so that is our palette collection. That is everything. I do have obviously single shadows of my Aim Black collection, which you would have seen a few days ago. And I just wanted to kind of ramble on about this. I hope I didn't ramble on too much, and I enjoyed hanging out with you guys for this. But yeah, if you want to see anything from this video featured again, or more up close, or do palette bingos, 2 looks, 1 palettes, 3 looks, 1 palettes, first impressions, even though I've already used all of them, let me know in the comments down below. Also hit subscribe down below to see more videos coming up, to see the video with this face in it when you can see how to recreate this face. And also all the spooky season stuff is coming up. We also have the, excuse my fingers, they're filthy now at this point because of the swatches. We also have Lush Halloween coming up very, very soon. Could be in not the next video, the video after. No. 3 videos away. No. 2 videos. I don't know. It's coming up before the end of the month. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't actually know. And then we will have Lush Christmas stuff coming out as well, because I already got the date of when it's actually launching in my store, so I can go and get the stuff when I need to. Yeah, we've a lot of stuff, so hit subscribe down below to also help me get to my goal of 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That would be amazing. I would be so happy. It would be the best Christmas present ever. Yes, I'd be so happy. And yeah, if you want to see this look and you want to see any of the makeup looks that I post in the future, especially the Halloween looks, because they're always the most fun, go follow my Instagram down below so you can see when the details and all the up close pictures of everything that I post on YouTube. And yeah, is that everything? Oh yeah, hit like down below if you do like any of the palettes in my video, or if you have any of them. If you have any of these palettes, because I'm sure you probably do, because there is a lot here. It's not even as much as what I see in most people's videos, but it's still overwhelmingly a lot when I have it laid out on my bed. And I also have to put all this away now before I can actually get into bed, because it's currently 1:15 in the morning. Yeah, great. So yeah, I will see you in the next video, guys.